Grow a structured way of coaching. There are many ways to structure your coaching, and the more experienced you are, the more creative you most probably get. One simple method that seems to be working fine in many a coaching conversation is GROW. GROW stands for Goal, Reality, Options, and Will. GROW is a method that many people want to take the responsibility for bringing into the coaching world, and it has been fine-tuned in many a way. One of the first ones, maybe the first one, to include GROW is John Whitmore. When you follow the GROW structure, you get a good way of helping the focus person to see an unclear situation in a clearer perspective and act upon it. Here are some general rules that you can benefit from when structuring your coaching. Talk about what works and strengths before talking about what is challenging and what do I need to be even better at. You do not need to walk through all the steps in all coaching conversations. Reaching to the point where the focus person knows that the goal is not very clear is also a good coaching session. You can jump backwards in the structure if you get new information that leads you to ask a question related to an earlier step in the structure. The structure is built so the coach can ask questions, followed by listening and reflecting, and followed by a new question. This means that a manager has to give up the responsibility of having all the answers. The answers will come from the employee. Jack Welch once said, "Sometimes it's okay for a leader to be the most stupid." Here's a description of each of the steps in the GROW model. Goal. What is your goal, and what is the goal for this coaching conversation? Reality. What is your situation? Options. What are your possibilities? Will. What are you going to do now? GROW is useful in many coaching conversations, for instance, a challenge, a possibility, a dilemma, a success. Enter the leadership path Lead and Manage Performance to learn more about how to coach on a success and how to incorporate coaching in your daily work when setting clear goals and following up. Here's a structured model that you can print out as a tool to guide you through all 4 phases. You can also get inspiration from a question library. You will find the 2 tools when entering Get Started on this topic. During the first step of a coaching conversation, Goal, the purpose is to discover the focus person's wishes for the future and a concrete goal to achieve that, the focus person's goal for this session. Clarify expectations to each other's roles in the coaching conversation. In the goal phase, the key question is, what do you want to achieve? This is a time to be curious about why this is important, what the focus person expects that achieving this goal will mean for them and others, and to validate if the goal is worth it. Be sure that the goal is worth it and the focus person is really committed to achieve it, or else it is a waste of time for both parties. When it is clear what the person wants to achieve, it is time to ask what the focus person hopes to get out of this particular coaching conversation. Help him or her to be realistic about what can be accomplished within the present time frame. Get an agreement on how to continue if this one conversation is not enough. If the issue calls for more than one coaching conversation, it is very useful to narrow the agenda to something specific related to the large or complex issue. The focus person can answer, "I want to be a better salesman," which is a large issue to handle in one conversation. What is it really all about? Is the issue that the person needs courage, needs to find questions to close the deal, needs to understand customers better, or something else? Ask a question like, what is the most important for you to focus on to be a better salesman? Find out how you can be the best coach for the focus person. During the second step, reality, the purpose is to explore the present situation. What are the experiences? Who are involved? What are the involved person's perceptions of the situation? What are the feelings connected to the situation? How are people related to each other? What are the gaps between perceptions, feelings, and the focus person's goals? The purpose is to open up for more perspectives than are visible at the moment. The focus person can be so attached to the problem that it can only be seen from one perspective. For instance, I just think she is immature when she does not want to move on instead of being stuck in an old story. The coach can open up for the focus person to see more perspectives. For instance, what broken dream do you think she has since it is so hard for her to move on? It can be beneficial for the coach to know which relationships are involved, which different perceptions, drivers, feelings, and personal values are represented, and which experiences, challenges, and successes to build upon. It can also be beneficial to start with questions that opens up for strength and then continue with questions related to challenges. For instance, what are you already good at that will help you reach your goal? What has been preventing you from reaching your goal already? The focus person is concentrated on different things depending on the nature of the goal. For instance, obstacles as the external factors that stops him or her from creating the progress that he or she strives for. Possible paths to fully benefit from an opportunity. Relations and feelings involved in a present dilemma. Future benefits or obstacles that may occur given a certain decision is taken. It is your job to ask questions that increase the person's awareness of how the person's own mindset and behavior affect the situation. Search for the learning that is embedded in the focus person's story. What does a focus person need to realize, learn, or dare to do in order to be able to act upon the situation without hesitation? It is often emotional, so give the person some space to react and express emotions. Reflect back on what you hear and see. During the third step, options, the purpose is to identify different opportunities and make choices. The purpose is to explore the possibilities for moving on with a challenge, dilemma, or opportunity. The coach can help the focus person to see more perspectives. The questions can be linked to what was answered in the reality phase. You will most probably discover that the focus person has a different view on the situation and the relationship since the reality phase has opened up for more perspectives. It is now time to be clearer about how to act in the relationships, assess the consequences of choices, and prioritization of what is possible to act upon. Ask what opportunities the other person can see for him or herself. Ask questions to find more perspectives and more possibilities. Offer own ideas if the focus person do not have any, or if it seems like there is not enough energy in the ideas. Offer the ideas ending up in a question like, how would that idea fit into your world? Be ready to read the focus person's response. He or she might accept the suggestion because you are the manager, even though it does not seem as the right idea. Ask which of the options listed will be most beneficial to take into action. During the fourth step, the purpose is to encourage action and movement. Ask the focus person what they are willing to do now and what kind of support they need. Support the employee in carrying out and staging a goal for the changed thinking and behavior. Help the employee to be specific in his/her action plan. Ask the employee to check if the goals are SMART, specific, measurable, attractive, realistic, and time-bound. Enter the leadership path Lead and Manage Performance to learn more about SMART goals. Integration of learning is the loop back to the goal, and it is more or less the last thing you do in a coaching conversation. Ask questions regarding the goal for the meeting. The answer you get can be the starting point for the next conversation. Your questions can be, what have you learned based on this conversation? How is the goal you had for this conversation compared to the understanding you now have of what to do? How far are we now compared to what you wanted to achieve today? How does your challenge, dilemma, or opportunity look like now? These questions give the focus person a chance to get a new starting point and maybe a reason to adjust the original goal. The focus person will also get time to reflect upon the outcome of the conversation. At the same time, the coach will get a picture of how much the focus person is ready to act and what the next step can be in the coaching relation. It could be to continue or end the work related to this particular goal. Enter the leadership path Lead and Manage Performance to learn more about how to use coaching in a structured quarterly process to increase performance.